Cleveland is on fire right now. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam is reportedly ready to pull the trigger after Kevin Stefanski's jaw-dropping response to the Shedeur Sanders interview. This isn't just a rumor. Insiders say a coaching shakeup could drop any minute.
Go low. I can picture Antoine Winfield. That was kind of his calling card on those plays. So you would be maybe more aware to protect yourself. So, yeah, disappointed in the result of that play, of course. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
How close that you guys have said he is and as he's progressing, is that play into not starting him on IR for the season?
Say it one more time, Cam.
With my call, like you said, he's progressing. He's been close kind of every week, in and out of practice. Did that lead to his progression? Did that lead to him not starting the season on IR? Was there a thought there?
I think, you make all these decisions based on where the guys are. He continues to get better. I think it's been beneficial to have him practice with the football team and be out there, which is you can't do when you're on those lists. So he's doing everything in his power. He's getting better every single day.
I get to see very much of practice anymore, especially the rookies or whatever they're doing. But
it's Peter's Mary Kay.
So Shadur said yesterday that he feels ready to play and that he thinks he would be starting for a lot of teams in the league right now. So just wondering, how is he coming along and what are you seeing from him? Is he ready to go if he called?
The Cleveland Browns front office is in absolute chaos right now, and Jimmy Haslam might just be reaching for that pink slip with Kevin Stefanski's name on it. When your head coach basically dismisses your rookie quarterback's confidence in a press conference like he's swatting away a fly, you know there's some serious tension brewing behind closed doors.
I hope all of our guys feel like they're ready, Mary Kay, and they're working very hard at it. We do a lot of work with our players, rookies, vets, all our guys, spending every available minute that we have with them, getting them ready physically, mentally, whether it's in the weight room, the meeting room, out on the field. So all our guys are working very hard.
That they're definitely going to have their jobs next year.
No, far from it. And they've said this many times before about people's job security and what they, believe about a coach late in the year, December, right? We always laugh because December in Berea means people are getting fired. This year it would be January in January in Berea, excuse me. But no, I don't read anything into what Jimmy Haslam had to say, because what else is he going to say this time of year other than, we're surprised that we're 3-10. Well,
Stefanski's ice-cold response to Shedeur Sanders saying he's ready to start for most NFL teams, that might have just sealed his fate in Cleveland. The way this man deflected every single question about Shadur like he was radioactive tells you everything you need to know about where this franchise is headed. And it ain't pretty, folks.
He's ready, and he's very, very close.
Any merit to using Dylan some in this game in spot situations or anything like that?
Dylan Sampson?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Definitely him. Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, I think every week we make decisions based on roster. And
as y'all hear, I'm not going to make any quarterback changes. We're just going to ride it out with Joe. It's either y'all hate Shadur or y'all tanking this season. And I said this last week. Joe Flacco might be in on a tank because that interception he threw, a deer could see that. Why would you throw that? Get down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts about this. Keep them bells on. The hottest channel.
Listen, we need to talk about what really went down in that press conference yesterday. Because what you saw on the surface was just the tip of the iceberg. When Mary Kay Cabot asked Stefanski directly about Shedur's comments, when our boy said he feels ready to play and thinks he'd be starting on a lot of teams right now, Stefanski's response was colder than a Cleveland winter morning. Yeah, he's doing a good job. I hope all of our guys feel like they're ready. Are you kidding me right now? That's the response you give to your first-round quarterback who's been grinding, who's been patient, who's been nothing but professional while watching 40-year-old Joe Flacco get snaps ahead of him. That's not coaching. That's disrespect wrapped in corporate speak. And here's where it gets real spicy. Sources inside the Browns organization are whispering that Jimmy Haslam watched that press conference live. And let's just say he wasn't pleased with what he heard. We're talking about an owner who's already fired coaches for less. And now he's watching his head coach publicly dismiss the confidence of the quarterback he personally pushed to draft. Think about this for a second. You've got Shedeur Sanders, a kid who's been nothing but class since day one, finally speaking his truth. He's not demanding trades. He's not throwing teammates under the bus. He's simply stating facts. He's ready to play, and he believes in his abilities. That's exactly the mentality you want from your franchise quarterback. But instead of supporting that confidence, instead of saying, "Absolutely, we believe in Shadur too," Stefanski gave him the most generic, dismissive response possible. But here's what really exposes the dysfunction in Cleveland. And this is where it gets interesting for us Shadur supporters. When the reporter asked about potentially using Dillon Gabriel in certain packages, Stefanski's immediate confusion said everything. Dylan Sampson? Oh no, I'm sorry. Definitely him. Dillon Gabriel. The man literally forgot about his other rookie quarterback for a split second. This tells us two things. First, Stefanski is so locked into his outdated game plan with Flacco that he's not even seriously considering his young talent. Second, and this is crucial for Shedur's future, the coaching staff isn't even thinking creatively about how to utilize their rookie quarterbacks. They're just letting elite talent rot on the bench while hoping a 40-year-old can somehow resurrect this franchise. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Maybe Stefanski's just being cautious. Maybe he's trying to protect Shadur. But let me break down why that narrative doesn't hold water. When a reporter brought up Brian Daboll's comments about rookie quarterbacks never really being ready, Stefanski had the perfect opportunity to defend his decision-making process. Instead, he gave another generic response. Every situation's different. All the circumstances are different. That's not leadership, that's deflection. A real coach would have explained his development plan, would have talked about what specific milestones Shadur needs to hit, would have shown some passion for his young quarterback's development. Instead, we got corporate speak that sounds like it came from a PR handbook. But here's where this story takes a turn that's going to make Shadur fans excited. And it's something Stefanski probably doesn't realize yet. By being so dismissive, by treating Shedur's confidence like it's a problem instead of an asset, he's actually building a case for why this young man needs to be somewhere else. And trust me, other teams are watching. You think teams like the Raiders, the Giants, the Panthers aren't taking notes right now? You think they're not seeing a franchise quarterback being wasted in Cleveland and thinking, we could use that talent? Because that's exactly what's happening. Shedur's stock isn't falling because of Stefanski's comments. It's rising because everyone can see the potential being squandered. Let's talk about what Jimmy Haslam is really thinking right now. This is an owner who's been through 5 head coaches since 2019. He's seen promising seasons turn into disasters. He's watched draft picks get mismanaged. And he's starting to see the same patterns emerge with Stefanski. The refusal to adapt, the stubborn commitment to veteran players over young talent, the inability to develop quarterbacks. These are all red flags that Haslam has seen before. And here's the kicker. Haslam specifically wanted Shadur in this draft. This wasn't a pick that fell into their lap. This was a targeted selection. So when he sees his hand-picked quarterback getting dismissed by his head coach, when he sees that same quarterback handling the situation with more maturity than the supposed leader of the team, it creates a problem. The truth is, Stefanski's handling of this situation reveals a deeper issue with his coaching philosophy. He's so committed to playing things safe, so afraid of making mistakes, that he's forgotten what it takes to develop franchise talent. You don't develop quarterbacks by keeping them on the bench. You don't build confidence by dismissing their belief in themselves. You don't create championship teams by prioritizing comfort over potential. Look at what Shadur actually said in that interview. He wasn't disrespectful. He wasn't demanding anything unreasonable. He simply said he feels ready and believes he could start for many teams. That's not arrogance, that's confidence. That's exactly the mindset you want from someone you're expecting to lead your franchise for the next decade. But Stefanski's response showed that he either doesn't understand that mindset or doesn't value it. And in a league where quarterback confidence is everything, where the mental side of the game separates good players from great ones, that's a coaching failure. Now, let's be real about what happens next. Stefanski can continue with his conservative approach, can keep rolling out Joe Flacco while Shadur watches from the sidelines. But that strategy has an expiration date. Every game that goes by where the Browns struggle offensively, every press conference where Stefanski deflects questions about his young quarterbacks, every moment where it becomes obvious that this team is wasting elite talent, it all adds up. And here's what makes this situation even more frustrating. For Shadur supporters, we can see what this kid brings to the table. We've seen his arm strength, his pocket presence, his leadership ability. We've seen him handle pressure in big moments, make throws that veteran quarterbacks can't make, show the kind of poise that you can't teach. But instead of tapping into that potential, instead of building an offense around those skills, Stefanski is stuck in the past. He's so worried about making mistakes that he's making the biggest mistake of all, not playing his best players. The irony here is that Stefanski's job security probably depends on Shedur's success more than he realizes. This Browns team isn't going anywhere with Joe Flacco. They're not making the playoffs. They're not competing for championships. And eventually, that lack of progress is going to cost him his job. But if he had the courage to start Shadur, if he built an offense that showcased those elite skills, if he embraced the potential instead of fearing it, that could change everything. That could save his career. Instead, we're watching a coach sabotage his own future because he's too conservative to take the risks that championship teams require. And let's address the elephant in the room. Stefanski mentioned that all teams try to keep that interior of the pocket clean when talking about pressure affecting quarterbacks. You know who's great under pressure? You know who's shown time and time again that he can handle interior rushers and make throws in tight windows? Shedeur Sanders. But we'll never see that in Cleveland if Stefanski keeps approaching this situation like he's trying not to lose instead of trying to win. The comment about pressure being hard for all quarterbacks shows exactly the kind of thinking that's holding this team back. Great coaches don't worry about what might go wrong. They focus on what could go right. The writing is on the wall here, folks. Jimmy Haslam didn't buy this team to watch mediocrity. He didn't draft Shedeur Sanders to watch him waste away on the bench while his coach makes excuses. And he definitely didn't hire Stefanski to watch him mismanage the most important position in sports. Every day that passes with Shadur on the bench is another day that other teams are taking notes. Every press conference where Stefanski dismisses his potential is another piece of evidence that this coaching staff doesn't understand what they have. But here's what gives me hope for Shedur's future. His response to all this has been perfect. He's not complaining, he's not demanding trades, he's not creating drama, he's simply stating his truth and continuing to work. That's the mark of a true professional. And it's exactly the kind of character that championship teams are built around. The question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders is ready to play. The question is whether Kevin Stefanski is ready to coach him. And based on what we saw in that press conference, based on the way he deflected and dismissed and gave corporate non-answers, I'm starting to think the answer is no. Which brings us back to Jimmy Haslam and that pink slip. Because at some point, when you're watching elite talent get wasted, when you're seeing your hand-picked quarterback get disrespected by your head coach, when you're watching the same conservative approach that's failed before, at some point, you have to make a change. And if I'm Shedeur Sanders, I'm watching all this play out with interest. Because whether it's in Cleveland with a new coach or somewhere else entirely, this young man's time is coming. His talent is too obvious, his potential too high. his character too strong for the league to ignore much longer. Stefanski might think he's protecting his job by playing it safe, but he's actually sealing his fate. Because in the NFL, safe doesn't win championships, safe doesn't develop quarterbacks, and safe definitely doesn't keep owners happy when they're watching their investment in elite talent go to waste. The clock is ticking in Cleveland, and Kevin Stefanski better figure out real quick that his future is tied to Shedeur Sanders' success. Because if he doesn't, Jimmy Haslam is going to find someone who will. So, what do you think happens next? Is this the beginning of the end for Stefanski in Cleveland? Will Shadur finally get his shot? Or are we watching a franchise quarterback get wasted in real time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button because this story is just getting started. And you know we're going to be here to break down every twist and turn until Shadur gets the respect he deserves.